Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. It is indeed a brand new day. I have not been outside yet. It's been a very slow day. I was very late getting to bed last night, and so even though I was hurting, and so not sleeping, I waited till about 7:30-ish to get out of bed, and then just sat around in my underwear eating some breakfast, some chili with beans, and watching videos and playing. Did I actually play anything? Be honest, I can't remember if I did or not, but I know I took a shower, so I probably didn't have time to play anything. But I know I did watch some videos while I was eating. So now it is a little afternoon, and I am getting this recorded, so thumbs up. Habit and routine are important even if my brain cannot remember what it is that I want to talk about, which is one of those joyous things about ADHD, which I've talked about for some time, even before I knew I had ADHD, where I would be talking about things and it would feel like somebody was reaching into my head, grabbing the thoughts that I was talking about, and just pull them out of my head, leaving me blank with nothing. I have since come to realize, having read a whole lot of other people talking about this, where while they don't describe it as, being pulled out of their heads like that, they do experience the joyous thing of forgetting what you're talking about as you're talking about it. To be sure, I was going to say to be sure and to be honest at the same time. But I also suspect quite strongly that another part of my problem laid on top of that is the fact that I was an active alcoholic for so long. And I'm quite sure that I did at least some brain damage. So I think that's a part of it. I'm not sure. I've never been tested for the brain damage for the alcoholism, but everything else. So, and that's why it's kind of iffy and just I suspect thing, because all the symptoms that I have could be just entirely ADHD, and remove any even thoughts of alcoholic brain damage, and this picture doesn't change. Add it or take it away, it's still the same picture. So I don't know if it makes it worse or not. But even here, I've got itchy spots that I cannot make stop, that I cannot stop from being itchy spots, which is great since I just took a shower, put on lotion, and now I'm recording. Oh, that's a portion of my brain that just forgot what I was going to talk about. Which is what I was going to talk about. Where that blankness that comes with feeling everything pulled out of my head, I can feel that coming on, and then I can feel it happening, because I can be sitting here, and it has happened while I'm sitting here and doing things while I'm thinking of, SoloRPG stuff, or my setting stuff, or whatever thought it may be. But I can feel it coming on and going, oh no, and then it literally feels like a blank, well, not a blank, but a document with text on it, call it digital, because as I'm going, oh no, all of the text just fades away, leaving a blank screen. There's nothing. It just pixel by pixel until it's all gone. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. It's just leaving me blank, just going, I know what I was thinking about was good, but I have no idea what it was. Now, I'd say a good 90% of the time, I can just be sitting there and not freaking out about it, because I know that doesn't help, and then it'll fade back in. And at least 90% of it, if not more, comes back. Just no effort on my part, just all of a sudden, oh, that's what it was. All right, and yeah, and okay. And then it's just back. No control on my part. The 10% of the time that doesn't work, I'm left just going, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so can't feel bad about it. Which is all sort of a long lead up to, that makes it hard for me to do things like long Let's Plays on stuff. Because I forget what's happening in the game, and I will forget game controls. I already feel like I'm playing the game Disco Elysium wrong, in a way, because I've been playing it the way I've been playing it. Most people, apparently, when they're doing their Let's Plays, they just go off the rails to try and go off the rails to see what's there and make a, hey, let's go off the rails video, because that would probably attract more people watching. Whereas I'm doing it as I'm trying to push through, take myself out with self-deletion through drink, but not trying to really hurt anyone else. So trying to push through, mostly doing it right, while still going off the rails periodically. I already feel like I've been playing it wrong because of that. And then always forgetting the things that I really should be remembering. I feel bad for this too. But then I also feel that way about a lot of things, not just this. I have strong rejection sensitivity. And so even somebody saying, hey, that's a nice shirt you're wearing, but it's a little cool today, isn't it? And immediately I'm going to be like, well, I really wore the wrong thing, didn't I? Boy, that was a stupid idea on my part. It's probably going to rain. And I'm not trying to be this way. So that's one joyous part of it. But the other parts of it are legitimate things that I forget. There's a thing called the thought cabinet in the game. And I keep forgetting to use it properly. I forget that it exists, and then I forget how it works. There's a whole page of like 36 different skills you can have. I'd love to read through them all to get a good understanding of what they are. I even read aloud what a lot of them were during one of my Let's Plays on it. I forgot what number 1 was by the time I got to number 3. I'm not going to be able to remember what these skills are. So, one of the reasons that I am playing it so straight, though, is because I've been identifying with the main character, even though the character is pretty much a blank slate. So you can see whatever you want to see within it. The way I see it, the way I feel it, I'm playing in no other way that I can. And especially, I feel this, I have mentioned before, I feel a huge desire to not disappoint the lines of code of Kim Kitsuragi in the game. Lines of code, and I don't want to disappoint them. Again, so well written, and I identify with the blank slate there, with all the things that have happened. I have been that guy. I'm going to try and go a little bit more off the rails. I tried to do that this last episode where people had told me it's okay to accept things that, for this, that, and the other, because maybe that'll open up stuff later on down the line. Like, there's stuff that I had to do to try and get through it that I don't like myself. Had to listen to a whole bunch of very racist stuff so that I could go through advanced race theory, because I have to become incredibly racist to get past the racist. Now that, at the same time, is not actually true. You can just accept it or not accept it as much as you like, and if you accept it just to get past them, the game takes that into effect and you don't ever have to do anything with it. It's accepted that you just did it to get past him. Now, apparently the writer of the game did a lot of that to deal with their own addiction issues, so yeah, I can understand why I see myself in the character, because I see myself in the character. It's like looking into a mirror. That's one of the reasons I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, because faced with the mirror, I really can't do anything but be myself, which is what I'm doing in the game. So I just wanted to talk about that, not in a complaining way, which I'm quite sure that still comes across as, but try to explain how I feel myself so strongly in there. Such a well done game. I wanted to cry during part of the last episode, and I stopped myself because I felt not bad about crying. I will cry at the drop of a hat. I don't mind about that. I have a million videos of me crying because I will cry. But I felt the thing that I was crying about was kind of a foolish thing to cry about. I will cry about anything. It is easy to make me cry. When it comes to tears and things that, I am a basic bitch. And I know it. That's fine. Accept who you are. Anyway, let me check the time over here. The only other real things that have been going on is I've been still trying to think of things on the SoloRPG setting, which is still part of the inside-outside Razor's Edge setting. Specifically, it is a layer on the Razor's Edge. Now, of course, every layer on the Razor's Edge is like a decimal number. You can always drop another digit at the end, and it just makes it more. It's not necessarily more. I mean, there's just more digits, not more of something. Now, if I can try and remember what I was talking with that about. Inside of the Razor's Edge. Oh, God. Remember when I was talking about things being dragged out of my head so that there's just a feeling of blankness? That just happened. The ringing in my ears has become louder, and everything that I was thinking about is gone. I remember now that it was inside-outside Razor's Edge SoloRPG setting. The ringing in my ears is not as loud. Decimal numbers. The micro layers. Good God. That's what I was talking about. Everything went away and came back. Each layer on the Razor's Edge, when you're traveling to someplace else, there are micro layers between where you are and where you are going, so that it is a slow change and transition between where you are and where you're going. If you're going from a desert to a mountainous area, you're not necessarily going through a natural place. You're just going from the layer you were on to a different layer, which is almost exactly the same, except it's a little bit less like this and a little bit more like way over here. And the next one over is a little bit less like this and a little bit more until you finally make that final step and you're where you want it to be. Each one of those steps is a micro layer. And you can effectively drop another decimal point, and there's always another set of micro layers between the layer you're on and the next one. So there's a lot of micro layers, and the micro layer that I write about in my head, talk about, is this here, where, yeah, there are micro layers of difference off this direction, micro layers of difference off this direction, if you use a two-dimensional line-like representation metaphor. But this is the one I'm interested in. Not any of these over here or any of these up here. It's this one. That's like with the whole inside-outside razor's edge thing. Yeah, there's a lot of places that are far different from the one that I talk about, which has roughly the same set of parameters because they micro layer off in these directions, but I don't care about these ones. This is the one I'm interested in. This has got the set of parameters I like. So, yay. So when people use their, which is the hardest part to try and explain, but not really, because a glamour is just, it's not really a thing, it's just a word people use to describe a concept. Because anything can be a glamour from a molecule on upward. But the greater the contiguous accumulation of something, the greater the chance that it will be a glamour. So the chance that a molecule will be a glamour is not zero, but the chance that the skyscraper-sized chunk of granite, with only a little bit of it poking above the ground, the rest of it underground, the odds of that instead being used as a glamour, much, much higher. And the glamours are just anchor points. Because if you want to travel from your layer to another layer, it just forms a connection between the two spots, from your address book to where the point actually is. And it's effectively a steel line that runs from here to here. You're just hooking your connector to it and then walking along the safety line until you get there, at which point you're off. And you're there. So there's a lot more, but that's all that I really wanted to think about on that part of it, because it was the SoloRPG setting where I have been thinking of the various places and how they run, because Danthel, one of the characters, comes from the continent of Carthcog, who started off growing up in the town of Comat before leaving to go over to Tuathic to find adventure and not finding it, so ending up moving downward to the settlement of Nagrot, where he meets up with Connor. Connor, who starts over on the continent of Lanlua, who is in one of the support villages around the city-state of Thalanae, which is one of the city-states of the Dwaylen. And Connor is several generations into Goya immigrant, children of immigrants, human beings, effectively the Goya, from the continent of Stilden, whose ancestors had emigrated to the continent of Lanlua, and now, many, many, many generations into it, he, seeking adventure, takes a ride across the ocean to the continent of Carthcog, coming out in the port town of Tuathic, looking for adventure and not finding it, and so ending up taking the ship from the West Adania merchant group down the continent of Carthcog to the settlement of Nagrot, which is in the middle of the Ogranic forest, where there is the Ajak trail, which everyone, that's not what it's called, but they informally call it the Nargai Trail, which is just mocking the fact that it is incredibly dangerous. And of course, that is where I've been trying to keep all these things as the place to have adventure for the solo RPG setting, which is now also just another place to tell stories about in the whole Inside Outside Razor's Edge saga. And hey, yesterday I went and tried to split everything up with this block of stuff, and I did a pretty good job, I think. Whether or not it actually worked, I have no idea, but I forgot all about that today. So, call to action. If you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that would be very, very cool. Definitely a thumbs up on that. Everybody who is a Patreon patron, you are beautiful and awesome. When you look in the mirror, you do see somebody who is beautiful and awesome. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Thumbs up for that. For everybody that leaves me a comment, you too are beautiful and awesome in your own way. You are all just great people, and I appreciate that very, very much. And talking of great people, I don't have anything around that I can use to say, hey, write this down in the comments. So if you could write in the comments whatever you want, that would be awesome. Thumbs up and thank you. Good job of engagement farming on my part, wasn't it? Thumbs up for that. So I'm going to edit, render, upload. I'm going to take care of myself as best I can. I have been playing so much Paint the Town Red, and I was thinking about why today. I am still going through turmoil up here that I don't understand yet, but I am seeking a lot of comfort gaming. And Paint the Town Red is, for whatever reason right now, a very powerful comfort game. So, something's going on up here. Not quite sure what yet. Might be that plastic spoon in my brain. You got one too, don't forget that. An entire plastic spoon's worth of microplastics spread throughout your brain tissue. I wonder if that's part of the reason I forget. Anyway though, hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done, and if not, please do not beat yourself up. It's not going to help you get it done better next time, and you deserve better. Thumbs up for that. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing. I am, of course, going to be playing more Disco Elysium. I was going to say Disco Inferno. I didn't stumble over my tongue, but I wanted to let you know that if there was a slight extra long pause in there, it's because I was going to say Disco Inferno, which was a disco song way back when I was younger. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Burn, baby, burn. Songs were something else back in that day. Back in that day. Back in those days. Or that time. Whichever way you'd like to say that. Did I already do the so until we meet again? Here, if I already did it, I'll do it again. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is indeed a very, very good thing. And since I have to reach down there so I can turn this whole thing off, I can use this hand to do that. Which, I mean, I can do it either hand, but for whatever reason, this arm wants to cramp. And that's because of the severed nerve here. I mean, it's repaired, obviously. It healed, but there's scar tissue, and because of that, I have issues with all the muscles through here. My arm never feels right or good. Thumbs up. Anyway, back to this. I got my pointer on the trigger, so you take care, and I'll see y'all later.